My name is Naomi Carter. I'm 29 years old. And the moment I realized I meant nothing to my own family was when I was lying in intensive care with a broken spine. It was when I understood why they weren't there. Before I tell you how my parents erased me from the family, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, but only if this story truly touches your heart, and let me know where you're listening from and what the temperature is there right now. Now, let me begin. At 6:47 a.m. that morning, my boss got the call. By 8:15, he was already in the ICU waiting room, holding a cup of coffee, asking the nurses which room I was in. My mother got the same call at 6:50 a.m. By noon, she still hadn't shown up. I didn't know any of that at the time. I was too busy trying to remember how to breathe without screaming. The accident happened at 5:30 that morning. On my way to the office in downtown Chicago, I was always the first one there. I had to be. Someone needed to prepare the quarterly reports before the 9 a.m. executive meeting. My team depended on me. The company depended on me. The drunk driver who ran the red light didn't care about any of that. When I woke up, everything was white and beeping. A nurse with gentle eyes leaned over me, adjusting my IV. She smiled when she noticed I was awake. "Welcome back, Naomi. You're at St. Mary's Medical Center. You were in a car accident. Do you remember anything?" I tried to nod. The pain hit instantly sharp, electric, like lightning tearing through my neck and spine. A broken sound escaped my throat, and she quickly pressed a button into my hand. "Pain control. Use it. Don't try to be strong right now." I squeezed it. "You have 3 fractured vertebrae and a herniated disc." She continued softly. "We stabilized you, but you'll need surgery soon." Surgery. The word landed like a weight on my chest. I tried to speak, but my throat burned raw from the breathing tube they had just removed. "Your boss is here," she added gently. "He's been calling every 20 minutes. Do you want me to send him in?" I blinked once. Yes? What I wanted to ask was, "Where is my family?" A few seconds later, Daniel Reeves walked in, my boss, the head of our marketing division. He was always composed, always in control, but not today. His eyes were red. "Naomi, Jesus, you scared all of us," he said, pulling a chair close to my bed. "Don't try to talk. I already spoke with the doctors. Surgery tomorrow morning. Recovery, at least 6 to 8 weeks." I tried to reach for my phone. He gently stopped me. "Already taken care of. I called your emergency contact, your mom." I froze. He hesitated for a second, clearly uncomfortable. "She said she'll come, as soon as she can." He continued. "She asked me to tell you that she and your dad are dealing with something important right now. Something important. More important than their daughter lying in the ICU, with a broken spine." I already knew what it was. Vanessa's launch party, my older sister's big moment, her startup app, something she'd been working on for a year, with the $90,000 I gave her. The launch event I helped fund, $15,000 for catering, $10,000 for the venue, marketing materials, investor gift boxes, photographers, all of it, paid from my account, while her business account somehow always stayed empty. "They're coming, right?" Daniel asked carefully. Watching my face, I wanted to tell him the truth. I wanted to say that my parents would choose my sister's networking event over my surgery, just like they chose her graduation trip over mine. Just like they chose her investor meetings over helping me move into my first apartment. Just like they chose her every single time for the past 29 years. But instead, I just closed my eyes. Please note quickly that this is a fictional story, with some elements enhanced by artificial intelligence. It was created purely for storytelling purposes, to entertain, inspire, and perhaps evoke something deep within you. Now, let's get back to the story. Daniel stayed with me for 3 hours. He barely left his chair, only getting up once to grab more coffee, even though it had long gone cold. At some point, Lily Harper, one of my coworkers, rushed in during her lunch break, holding a small bouquet of white flowers and a stack of magazines she thought I might like. She smiled too brightly, like she was trying to hold everything together for me. Not long after, my assistant Megan Cole slipped in quietly, placing my laptop charger and a folder of documents on the side table. Daniel immediately frowned. Seriously, Megan. She's in the ICU, he said. Megan shrugged softly. She'd ask for it anyway. He sighed, but he didn't argue, because we all knew it was true. Work had always been the one thing I could control, the one place I felt needed. My parents never showed up that day. Not in the morning, not in the afternoon, not even late at night when the hospital hallways grew quiet and the machines seemed louder. My surgery was scheduled for 7 the next morning. At 6 that evening, my neurosurgeon, Dr. Harrison Lee, came in to explain everything. He spoke calmly, professionally, like someone who had delivered this speech hundreds of times. Spinal fusion, 4 to 6 hours. Risks included paralysis, infection, chronic pain, death. Each word felt heavier than the last. He handed me the consent forms. "Is your family here?" he asked gently, nodding toward the papers. "You might want them with you for this." "They're coming," I said. The lie came out too easily. He studied me for a moment, his expression unreadable. "Naomi, you're 29, legally. You can make this decision on your own," he said carefully. "But this is life-changing. You shouldn't have to go through something like this alone." Alone. I almost laughed. I had been alone for years. Why would tonight be any different around 7:30? My phone rang. "Mom," I answered, my voice barely more than a whisper. "I have surgery tomorrow morning." "Oh, sweetheart. We know," she said quickly. "Daniel already told us." There was a pause, a shift in her tone. "Listen, we have a small problem." My chest tightened. "Vanessa's launch party is tomorrow night. You remember?" "Right. The one at the Grand Harbor Event Hall. All the investors are flying in. This could change everything for her." I didn't say anything. She continued, her voice softer now, almost pleading. "Your father and I are actually in Los Angeles right now. We drove down yesterday to help her set up. The event is at 7, and we don't think we can make it back to Chicago in time for both." Both. As if they were equal. "It's spinal surgery, Mom," I said quietly. "I know, sweetheart. And we feel terrible," she replied. "But you're strong. You've always been strong. And the doctors are the best." "Right." I closed my eyes. "And Vanessa, she's worked so hard for this. You know how much she's been through. The development, the setbacks, the pressure, the money, my money. 90,000 for development. $25,000 for legal and marketing, equipment, software, the event itself. Every dollar I had saved, every sacrifice I had made. And she really needs us there. My mom finished softly. I had tracked every dollar, every transfer, every sacrifice. All of it was hidden inside a spreadsheet on my laptop, buried in a folder labeled Taxes 2023 because I couldn't stand looking at it too often. When I finally added everything up, the number had made my stomach drop. $180,000. That was how much I had given Vanessa over the past 3 years. My savings, my bonuses, my overtime, all gone. Mom, I could be paralyzed, I whispered, my throat tight. Don't be dramatic. Naomi. She replied almost immediately. You're going to be fine. You've always been the strong one, the responsible one. Her voice softened, but not in the way I needed. Vanessa needs us more right now. I stared at the ceiling, blinking slowly. You understand, don't you? I did. I understood that even lying in a hospital bed, facing the possibility of never walking again, I still came second. What about after I asked quietly? My surgery is in the morning. What about recovery? Oh, of course we'll come after, she said quickly, as if that solved everything. As soon as the party is over, we'll drive back. We should be there by Sunday afternoon at the latest. Sunday. 2 full days after my surgery. It's just a couple of days. Honey, she continued, you'll probably be asleep most of that time anyway. I swallowed hard. Vanessa really appreciates everything you've done for her, she added. The launch looks incredible. The caterer sent us photos. It's beautiful. Of course it was. I paid for it. And she wants you to know that once the app takes off, she'll pay you back. Every dollar. With interest. I closed my eyes. I had heard that before. After the first 50,000. After the next transfer. After every promise that never turned into anything real. I have to go. Mom, I said softly. They're bringing dinner. We love you, sweetheart. She replied, we'll be thinking about you tomorrow. Make sure you text us when you wake up. Okay. Before I could answer, the call ended. I lowered the phone slowly. The room felt colder than before. I didn't touch the dinner tray when it arrived. Around 9 that night, a nurse named Claire Bennett came in to check my vitals. She paused for a moment, studying my face like she could see straight through me. No family tonight, she asked gently. I shook my head. What about tomorrow? She continued. For the surgery, they're in Los Angeles. I said quietly. My sister has an important event. Claire didn't react right away. But something shifted in her eyes. I see, she said after a moment. She adjusted my blanket. Her movements careful, almost protective. Well, you won't be alone. Her voice was calm, steady, and somehow, that made everything hurt even more. Have you ever become invisible to the people who were supposed to love you the most? I truly hope you've never had to feel that. But if any part of this story feels familiar to you, go ahead and like this video, and feel free to share your story in the comments. You are not alone. Claire stayed a little longer than she needed to. I'll be here until 7 in the morning, she said softly. I'll walk you down to pre-op myself. You don't have to, I whispered. I want to. She gave my hand a gentle squeeze, her eyes steady and kind. And Naomi, I've been a nurse for 18 years. I've seen all kinds of families. Some show up for every little thing. Some don't show up at all. She paused for a moment, choosing her words carefully. That doesn't say anything about you. It says everything about them. I nodded, but the words settled somewhere deep, somewhere painful. That night, I fell asleep crying, which made my back hurt worse, which made me cry even more. The surgery lasted 7 hours. When I woke up, the first thing I noticed was the silence. The second was the absence. I couldn't feel my legs. Panic surged through me instantly. My chest tightened, my breath coming in shallow bursts. I must have looked terrified because Dr. Harrison Lee appeared at my side almost immediately. "It's the spinal block," he said quickly, his voice calm but firm. "Temporary. The feeling will come back within a few hours." I stared at him, searching for any sign of doubt. "The surgery went very well. Naomi," he added, "better than we expected." Slowly, my breathing steadied. When I finally turned my head, I saw Daniel sitting nearby. His posture slouched in a way I had never seen before. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept at all. Lily was there too, holding a paper cup of coffee, her eyes lighting up the moment she saw me awake. "You're okay," she whispered, smiling through what looked like tears. On the table beside me was a small care package, soft socks, lip balm, a handwritten card signed by everyone from the office. Megan must have brought it. I swallowed hard. They were there. My family wasn't. When I was finally able to move my arms, I reached for my phone. One message from my mom, sent at 8:30 that morning. "Thinking of you." Nothing else. I checked the time. 4 in the afternoon. My fingers trembled as I opened social media. Vanessa had posted story after story, 17 of them. The event space looked stunning. Elegant lighting, perfectly arranged catering displays, a custom cocktail menu with drinks named after features of her app. Everything flawless. Everything I paid for. She had tagged our parents in every single post. My mom in a new dress I had never seen before. My dad in a tailored suit, smiling proudly. Both of them laughing with investors, holding champagne glasses like they didn't have a daughter lying in a hospital bed just hours out of major surgery. They had time to drive to Los Angeles, time to shop, time to celebrate, but not time to come see me. Around 6 in the evening, the feeling started coming back to my legs. It came with pain, sharp, deep, relentless, even through the medication. It burned. Dr. Lee returned to check on me, a slight smile on his face. "Sensation is coming back. That's a very good sign," he said. "No paralysis. The fusion is stable." Relief washed over me, mixed with something heavier. "You'll be here for about 5 days," he continued. "After that, you'll need someone at home with you for at least 2 weeks. No driving, no stairs, limited movement." He glanced at me. "Do you have family who can help?" I thought about my parents, probably still raising glasses somewhere, celebrating Vanessa's future, a future I had helped build. "I'll figure it out," I said quietly. That night stretched longer than it should have. Claire came in to check on me every hour, adjusting my IV, asking about the pain, making sure I was still holding on. Around 2 in the morning, when the pain became too sharp to ignore and sleep, felt impossible. She pulled a chair beside my bed and sat down. "You don't have to go through this alone tonight," she said gently. Her voice was quiet, steady, like something I could lean on. She started telling me about her daughter, Emily, who was in medical school, full scholarship, part-time jobs, long nights, determined. I offered to help her, Claire said with a small, proud smile, but she refused. Said she wanted to do it on her own. Said it would mean more that way. I stared at the ceiling, letting her words settle. I tried to imagine what that felt like, to say no to help, because you didn't need it, not because it was never there to begin with. Sometime before dawn, exhaustion finally pulled me under. The next morning came too quickly. Friday, day 2. My phone was still silent. No missed calls, no messages, nothing from my parents. I opened social media again, almost out of habit. Vanessa's feed was overflowing. Photos from the launch party, smiling investors, handshakes, elegant lighting, applause frozen in perfect frames. It looked like a massive success. She had written a long caption beneath one of the posts. Grateful, emotional, inspirational. She thanked everyone who believed in her dream. And then she wrote, "Especially my amazing family who sacrificed so much to make this possible." She tagged my parents, not me. I stared at the screen for a long time before locking it again. At 11 that morning, my phone finally rang. "Mom." I hesitated before answering. "How are you feeling, sweetheart?" she asked brightly. "Like I just had spinal surgery," I said quietly. "Oh, honey, I'm sure you're doing great. You've always been so strong," she replied, her voice light, almost cheerful. She didn't pause long enough for me to respond. "The launch party was incredible," she continued. "Vanessa did amazing. So many investors showed up. One of them is already talking about a $500,000 investment." I closed my eyes. "Of course. I can believe it," I said softly. I had already put in 180,000 of my own money. What was another 500,000 to them? "When are you coming?" I asked. There was a slight shift in her tone. "That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about." My chest tightened. "Vanessa has follow-up meetings today and tomorrow. A lot of investors want to sit down with her privately. We really need to stay here to support her." I didn't say anything. "You understand?" "Right," she added. "This is the biggest opportunity of her life. Mom, I can't even walk to the bathroom by myself. The nurses are there." "Sweetheart," she said quickly. "That's what they're for." I looked down at my hands, weak and trembling. "And you'll be discharged in a few days anyway. We'll come see you then. Maybe next week. Once things calm down here. Next week." The words echoed in my head. "You're being so understanding about all of this," she continued warmly. "Vanessa is so lucky to have a sister like you." Lucky. I almost laughed. "Oh, and she asked me to mention something," my mom added casually. "Her investor meeting tomorrow is at a really nice restaurant, and she needs a new blazer to make a good impression." I stayed silent. The pattern was too familiar. Even now. Even here. Still. It was never about me. "Could you send her some money?" my mom continued. Her tone soft, almost casual. "Maybe 400. Her card is maxed out from the event expenses." The event expenses. The ones I had already paid for. Her card is maxed out, I repeated slowly. Well, there were some last-minute costs, she said quickly. You know how these things go, but this meeting is really important. This investor could change everything. Everything. Please. Naomi, just 400. I didn't say anything else. I just ended the call, right in the middle of her sentence. My hand was shaking as I turned off my phone completely and let it fall onto the bed beside me. The silence that followed felt louder than anything. About an hour later, Claire came in and found me crying. Not quietly, not controlled, just breaking. They're not coming, I said, my voice cracking. She didn't look surprised. I figured. She replied gently. She checked my vitals, adjusted my pillows, and then sat down beside me again. Naomi, she said carefully, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to really hear it. I wiped my face, but I didn't look at her. What your family is doing to you. This isn't normal, she continued. It's not okay, and you don't have to accept it. They're my family, I whispered. Her expression softened, but her voice stayed firm. Family doesn't ask their daughter for money while she's lying in a hospital bed recovering from spinal surgery. I swallowed hard. I didn't tell her about the $400. I didn't tell her how familiar that request felt. I was too ashamed. Saturday came. Day 3. My legs were stronger, but every step felt like my spine was being twisted apart. Physical therapy started that morning. They wanted me to walk short distances. Each step was agony, but I forced myself through it. Still no calls. Still no visits. I checked social media again. Vanessa had posted another photo. She was standing in a sleek black blazer, shaking hands with a man in an expensive suit inside a high-end restaurant. The caption read, "When you finally meet the investor who believes in your vision, dreams really do come true." I stared at the blazer. She got it. I wondered if she had used her own card, or if my mom had paid for it, expecting me to cover it later. The thought made my chest tighten. That afternoon, Daniel came back to visit. This time, he brought real coffee from my favorite place downtown, not the bitter hospital kind. Figured you needed something decent, he said, setting it carefully beside me. I managed a small smile. Then his expression shifted. Your mom called the office, he said slowly. My stomach dropped. What did she want? He hesitated. She asked if we could advance part of your salary, he said. She said you had unexpected expenses and needed $2,000. The room suddenly felt cold. What did you tell her? I told her we don't do salary advances, he replied, which is true. He sat down across from me, studying my face. Naomi, is everything okay? I'm fine, I said quickly. Financially, I'm fine. He didn't look convinced. I mean it, I added, forcing a steadier tone. I don't need anything. He nodded slowly, but the concern didn't leave his eyes. I'm here if that ever changes, he said, after he left. I stared at the untouched coffee for a long time. I wasn't sure what felt worse, the pain in my body, or the quiet realization that my family saw me as nothing more than a resource. That night, around 10, Claire came back. Her shift had ended hours ago. She closed the door behind her and lowered her voice. I'm not really supposed to show you this, she said, pulling out her phone. And technically, I could get in trouble. My heart skipped. But I think you need to see it. She tapped the screen and turned it toward me. It was security footage. The hallway outside my hospital room. A timestamp in the corner. Thursday night. 11:47. The night after my surgery. A woman stood outside my door. I didn't recognize her. She looked to be around 60. Gray hair pulled back neatly. A soft expression on her face. She was holding a small gift bag. She didn't knock. She didn't go in. She just stood there, staring at the room number, waiting. 3 minutes passed on the footage. Then, slowly, she turned and walked away. I looked up at Claire, confused. "Who is she?" I asked quietly. Claire shook her head. "I don't know," she said. "But she came back last night, too." My chest tightened slightly. "Same time." Claire continued. "Same thing. She just stands there and leaves." I stared at the screen again. Someone had come. Someone had shown up. Just not the people I had been waiting for. Claire lowered her voice even more. Like what she was about to say mattered more than anything else in that moment. "She came back last night too," she said. "And the night before that. Same thing every time. She stands outside your door, doesn't come in, and leaves something at the nurse's station." I felt a strange tightness in my chest. "Who is she?" I asked. Claire shook her head. "She won't say. She just asks how you're doing. Leaves things for you. Flowers, books, little gifts. And she makes us promise not to tell you where they're from." I blinked, trying to process it. "But Naomi, she's been here every single night. Every single one. Every night. While my parents were across the country, celebrating Vanessa's success with money I had given her." "Why doesn't she come in?" I whispered. "I don't know," Claire admitted. "But I thought you should know. Someone is here. Someone who cares." After she left, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I turned my head slowly and looked at the small table beside my bed. The things I had assumed came from my coworkers. The novel with a bookmark already placed at the first chapter. The lavender lotion. The box of dark chocolate truffles. The handwritten card that simply said, "You're stronger than you know." A strange realization settled over me. Someone knew I loved to read. Someone knew lavender helped me relax. Someone knew I always picked dark chocolate over anything else. Someone who wasn't my parents. The thought stayed with me long after the room went quiet. Sunday came. Day 4. The day my parents had promised they would arrive. I waited. Checked my phone every few minutes. Nothing. No calls. No messages. I opened social media again. Vanessa had posted a photo from brunch. She was sitting at a table with 2 investors. My parents were there too, smiling, glasses raised, sunlight catching everything perfectly. They were still in Los Angeles, at 3 in the afternoon. My phone buzzed. A message from my mom, running a bit late. "We'll be there by dinner." I stared at the screen. At 7. Another message. "Actually, we're staying one more night. Vanessa has another meeting tomorrow morning. We'll leave right after and be there tomorrow evening." Tomorrow. Again. At 9 that night. My phone rang. Dad. I answered without thinking. "Naomi," he said, his tone measured. "Your mother and I have been talking. Vanessa's opportunity here. It's really something special." I said nothing. We think it's best if we stay through Tuesday. He continued. Make sure she gets the most out of this. Tuesday. You understand? Right, he added. You've always been the practical one. I closed my eyes. I'm being discharged tomorrow, I said flatly. There was a brief pause. Oh, well, that's great news. He replied. See, you're already doing better. You don't really need us there. My fingers tightened around the phone. I can't drive for 6 weeks. I said. I can't climb stairs. I need help getting dressed. Well, can't one of your friends help? He asked. Or maybe you can hire someone. Hire someone. Like I was a problem to outsource. Vanessa's future is on the line here. Naomi. He continued. This is important. Vanessa's future, built on my money, my exhaustion, my broken spine. I ended the call. Then I turned my phone off again. The silence came back. Heavier this time. Claire found me later, staring at the wall. They're not coming. Are they? She asked gently. I shook my head. No. She sat down beside me. The woman came again tonight. She said. My heart skipped. She asked if she could see you. I told her you were awake. Claire hesitated. She said. She didn't have the right. I frowned slightly. But she wanted you to have this? Claire handed me a small envelope. My hands felt unsteady as I opened it. Inside was a simple card. No name. Just a short message written in careful handwriting. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I couldn't stay away. I'm so sorry for everything. You deserved better. You still do. I read it twice, then a third time. Not my mom. Not my dad. Not Vanessa. Someone else. Someone who saw me. Who is she? I asked. My voice barely above a whisper. Claire met my eyes. I think you should ask her yourself. She said softly. My heart started pounding. She's in the waiting room right now. She's here now, I asked. My voice unsteady. Claire nodded. She's been here every night. Naomi. Every single night. Whoever she is, she hasn't missed one. I let that sink in. Every night. While my parents were out celebrating Vanessa's success, while they were smiling for photos, raising glasses, building a future I had helped pay for, I thought about all the times I had come second, third, or not at all. Send her in, I said quietly. Claire gave me a small nod and left the room. I tried to sit up straighter, ignoring the sharp pain that ran through my back. I pressed the button to lift the bed slightly, wincing as my body protested every movement. For a brief second, I wished I looked better, like someone worth showing up for. The door opened. The woman from the footage stepped inside. Up close. Everything felt strange, familiar. She had green eyes, the same shade as mine, the same shape of nose, even the small cleft in her chin, the one I had always hated in the mirror. She stopped just inside the doorway, like she wasn't sure she was allowed to take another step. Naomi, she said softly. Hi, I'm... Her voice trembled slightly. My name is Caroline. Caroline. The name echoed in my head. I know I shouldn't be here, she added quickly. I know I don't have the right. But when I heard about the accident, I couldn't stay away. I stared at her, my heart starting to race. I've been watching your life from a distance for 18 years, she continued. But this, I couldn't just watch this time. 18 years. I was 29. 18 years ago. I was 11. Who are you? I whispered. She took a slow breath, like she had been holding it for years. I'm your godmother, she said. Your father's sister. The room tilted. I'm the aunt you don't remember, she continued quietly. Because your parents cut me out of your life when you were 11. I felt like the air had been pulled out of my lungs. Why, I asked, barely able to get the word out. Her eyes filled with tears. Because I told them they were hurting you, she said. Because I called them out for always putting Vanessa first. Because I refused to watch them turn you into someone who existed only to support her. She swallowed hard. I offered to pay for your college, she added. Instead of letting them pressure you into choosing a cheaper path while they funded Vanessa's private education. Her voice broke slightly. And because I chose you over them. Silence filled the room. They couldn't accept that. She finished. I couldn't process any of it. You've been watching me, I asked slowly. Not watching, she said gently. Just making sure you were okay. She stepped a little closer, still careful, still hesitant. The scholarship you received for college, she said. It wasn't from the university. That was me. I stared at her. The grant that covered your apartment deposit during your final year. She continued. That was me too. My chest tightened. The rebate that showed up when your car broke down 3 years ago, she added softly. That was me. Everything started to blur. I couldn't be part of your life, she said, but I could make sure you had what you needed. I shook my head slightly, trying to keep up. You paid for my college, I asked. All 4 years, she said gently. Your parents told you it was a scholarship. But Naomi, there's no such thing as a full ride like that with your grades. My hands trembled. I created a fund for you, she continued. I've been adding to it every year, waiting for the moment you might need it. Why? The word came out broken. Why would you do that? Caroline took a careful step closer and sat down in the chair beside my bed. Because I was there the day you were born, she said softly. I held you when you were only a few hours old. Her voice steadied, filled with something warm. Your father asked me to be your godmother, and I promised him I would always look out for you. Her fingers tightened slightly around the edge of the chair. When I saw how they were treating you, how they were expecting you to give everything to Vanessa, I tried to stop it. Tears slipped down her face. They chose to cut me out instead of changing. I felt my own tears fall, hot and uncontrollable. My back ached with every breath. But I couldn't stop. But I never stopped keeping my promise. She whispered. For the first time in days, I didn't feel completely alone. I couldn't stop. I said, my voice breaking as the words spilled out. They left me here, for her launch party, the one I paid for. They chose her networking event over my surgery. Caroline didn't interrupt. I know, she said softly, reaching for my hand. Her grip was warm, steady. I've been watching them do this to you for years. Naomi, she continued, watching you give everything, while they keep taking more. Every time you said yes, every time you sacrificed, they learned they could take even more. I closed my eyes, tears slipping down my temples. When I heard about the accident, when I realized they weren't here, she said, her voice tightening. I thought maybe this is the moment. Maybe this is when you finally see it. Her thumb brushed gently over my hand. Maybe this is when you finally choose yourself. I swallowed hard. I don't even know how. I whispered. I think you do. She replied. You hung up on your mother. You turned off your phone. Those are the first steps. Her eyes held mine. They're going to be angry, she added. I know, I said quietly. They'll survive. She said, without hesitation. The real question is, will you? Her words hit harder than anything else. Naomi, you almost died. She continued. Do you know what the paramedics said? I shook my head faintly. They said you had been working 23 days straight. I blinked, trying to remember. I couldn't. When was the last time you took a day off? She asked. Silence. I didn't have an answer. You're killing yourself to support Vanessa's dreams, Caroline said, her voice firm now. And your parents are standing there, cheering her on while you fall apart. I felt something crack inside me. When does it stop? She asked quietly. When you're actually gone. The words landed like a shock through my chest. I don't know what else to do. I whispered. They're my family. Caroline squeezed my hand. So am I, she said. Her voice softened again. I've always been your family, even when you didn't know it. Tears blurred my vision. And I'm telling you right now, she continued. This ends here. No more money for Vanessa. No more sacrificing your life for people who refuse to show up for you. Her gaze didn't waver. You're coming home with me when you're discharged. You're going to recover properly. And we're going to figure out how you take your life back. My chest tightened. They'll never forgive me, I said. Caroline didn't hesitate. Good, she replied. You don't need their forgiveness. You need your freedom. Something inside me gave way. I cried. Not quietly, not carefully, just completely. Caroline stayed there the entire time, holding my hand, not rushing me, not trying to fix it, just staying. When the tears finally slowed, she reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. There's something else you need to see, she said gently. She opened a banking app and tapped through a few screens before turning it toward me. This is the fund I created for you, she explained. The college money, and everything I've added over the years. I stared at the number, then blinked, then looked again. $247,000. My breath caught. I couldn't finish the sentence. $250,000, she said softly. And it's yours. It always has been. I shook my head in disbelief. I added to it every year, she continued. On your birthday, on holidays, every time I saw them take something from you. Her voice softened. Think of it as everything you deserved, finally being given back. My mind flashed through everything. The $180,000 I had given Vanessa, the late nights, the missed vacations, the constant pressure, all the things I had denied myself, while Caroline had been quietly building something for me. I can't accept this, I whispered. You can, she said firmly. And you will. She leaned forward slightly. You're going to use it to set boundaries, to get help, to take time off if you need it, to build a life that belongs to you. Her eyes softened. Not theirs. Yours. For the first time. The idea didn't feel impossible. Monday came. Discharge day. Dr. Harrison Lee went over everything carefully. No driving, No stairs, no lifting, limited movement. He said, physical therapy 3 times a week, follow up in 2 weeks. I nodded slowly. Who's taking you home? He asked. I glanced at Caroline. She had spent the night in that uncomfortable chair beside my bed. Despite every time I told her she didn't have to. My aunt, I said. He nodded approvingly. You'll need help for at least 2 weeks, he said. After that, you should be able to manage basic tasks. Full recovery will take at least 6 months. 6 months. It sounded like a long time, but for once, it didn't feel like something I had to rush through. When I finally picked up my phone again, it lit up instantly. 37 missed calls, 21 from my mom, 12 from my dad, 4 from Vanessa. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Then slowly, I set it back down. For the first time, I didn't feel the need to answer. I hesitated for a moment, then pressed play on one voicemail. My mother's voice filled the car, sharp and impatient. Naomi Carter, you need to call us back right now. We drove all the way back from Los Angeles and you're not even at your apartment. The hospital said you were discharged. Where are you? We came all this way to help you, and you're being incredibly ungrateful. Vanessa is very hurt that you haven't even congratulated her on the success of her launch. Call us back immediately. I ended it. I didn't listen to the rest. And then I deleted it. Caroline didn't say anything as she helped me carefully into the passenger seat of her car. Her movements were slow, steady, like she understood exactly how fragile everything still felt. We drove in silence for a while. Her house was in a quiet part of Evanston, about 40 minutes from my apartment and far enough from my parents that it felt like another world. What about work? I asked finally. Daniel already approved your leave, she said. 6 weeks. Full pay. He told me to tell you the department will survive without you, and you are absolutely not allowed to check your email. I let out a small breath I didn't realize I was holding. What about my apartment? Megan packed you a bag. Caroline replied. It's in the trunk. We'll go back for the rest when you're stronger. I nodded slowly. What about? I started, then stopped. What about what she asked gently? I didn't know how to finish the sentence. Everything in my life had always revolved around what someone else needed. Caroline glanced at me, her voice soft but firm. Stop thinking about everyone else for a second. Think about what you need. The question felt unfamiliar. What did I need? I needed the pain to stop. I needed more than 4 hours of sleep without waking up shaking. I needed to stop checking my bank account like it was a source of dread. I needed to stop flinching every time my phone lit up. I needed to stop being the solution to everyone else's problems. I needed to stop being my family's safety net. Caroline's house was beautiful. Single story. Open. Quiet. Everything was already prepared. The guest room had been turned into a recovery space. There was a medical bed, a walker, medications organized neatly, even the exact pillows Dr. Lee had recommended. I stared at it. How did you? I started preparing the day I heard about your accident. She said simply, just in case. Just in case I had finally had enough. The thought hit me hard. While my parents were celebrating Vanessa's success, Caroline had been planning how to take care of me. That night, the phone rang. Not my phone. Hers. She glanced at the screen, then handed it to me. It's your mother, she said. I took it slowly. Naomi, thank God. My mom's voice rushed through immediately. We've been worried sick. Why aren't you at your apartment? Who is this Caroline person? Why haven't you returned our calls? I looked at Caroline. She gave me a small nod. I'm recovering from surgery, I said calmly. At my aunt's house. There was a pause. You don't have an aunt, my mom said sharply. Wait. Caroline. Her tone changed instantly. You called Caroline. She's been here. I replied. Every night. While you were in Los Angeles at Vanessa's party. We told you that was important. She snapped. Don't twist this. I know exactly what you said. You're fine. She continued dismissively. You're out of the hospital now, aren't you? Everything worked out. I felt something inside me harden. I could have been paralyzed, but you weren't, she said quickly. So there's no reason to dwell on it. Now. When are you coming home? We need to talk about Vanessa. Of course. Her investor meeting is coming up. My mom continued. She needs another 10,000 to secure it. Silence filled the space between us. What did you say? She asked. I took a breath. No. The word felt strange, unfamiliar, but right. No more money. I continued. Not 10,000, not 400, not anything else. I'm done. Her voice sharpened instantly. Naomi. That's your sister. And I'm your daughter. The words came out stronger than I expected. I was in the ICU with a broken spine and you chose a party. That's not fair. She snapped. You're twisting everything. We were going to come. You didn't. We had responsibilities. You chose her, I said quietly. Like you always do. Silence. I'm done being second, I continued. I'm done paying for her life while you ignore mine. I'm done being your bank account. How dare you? She said, her voice rising. After everything we've done for you, we raised you, we fed you. Caroline paid for my college. The silence on the other end was immediate. What I said softly, you didn't think I would find out. My voice didn't shake anymore. She's been helping me for 18 years, while you've been taking from me for 3. That's not my mom started. But her voice faltered. That money, she said suddenly, her tone turning sharp, almost desperate. She had no right. That was supposed to go to Vanessa. We were going to use it to help her. The words hit like a slap. They knew. They had always known. I have to go, I said quietly. Naomi Carter. If you hang up this phone, she snapped. If you choose that woman over your real family, you will regret it. We will never forgive you. Vanessa needs. I ended the call. My hands were shaking. Caroline stood in the doorway. You did it, she said softly. I did. I whispered. They're going to hate me. They're going to hate losing control. She corrected gently. That's not the same thing. I let out a shaky breath. They never actually saw you, she added. Only what you could give them. The phone rang again. I turned it off. And this time, I didn't feel guilty. The next 6 weeks were the hardest and the best of my life. Hard. Because recovery was brutal. Every movement hurt. Physical therapy felt like torture. I had to relearn how to sit, stand, walk, without collapsing from the pain in my spine. But it was also the best, because for the first time in years, I wasn't working. I wasn't sending money. I wasn't checking my phone every few minutes, waiting to see what Vanessa needed next. For the first time, I was just existing, healing, living. Caroline and I talked, really talked. She told me about the years after my parents cut her off, how she had watched from a distance, how she had seen me slowly disappear under the weight of expectations that were never mine. "You used to write," she said one evening. I looked up. "You were 11 the last time I saw you," she continued. "You showed me a story about a girl who could talk to the stars." I felt something stir in my chest. "You were so full of imagination," she said softly. "So alive." I looked down at my hands. I couldn't remember the last time I had written anything that wasn't a report, or a budget, or a transfer. "Somewhere along the way," she said gently, "you stopped being that girl." Silence settled between us, and for the first time, I wondered if I could find her again. "You were 11 the last time I saw you," Caroline said one evening over dinner. "You showed me a story about a girl who could talk to the stars. It was beautiful. What happened to that girl?" "Naomi?" I stared at the table. I didn't remember when she disappeared. Somewhere between middle school and high school. My parents decided who I needed to be. Vanessa was the creative one, the visionary, the one with dreams worth investing in. I was supposed to be practical, stable, responsible, the one who made money, so I became that. I stopped writing, stopped dreaming, stopped imagining a future that belonged to me. "What if I want her back?" I asked quietly. Caroline didn't hesitate. "Then you bring her back." So I tried. At first, it felt awkward, almost uncomfortable. I started reading again. Just a few pages at night, then more. I downloaded writing apps, signed up for an online class. Caroline bought me a journal. "Write anything," she told me. "It doesn't have to be good." So I wrote. About a girl who gave everything to her family until she had nothing left. About a woman who loved her quietly from afar. About learning to say no. The words came slowly, but they came. 2 weeks into my recovery. My phone rang from an unknown number. I answered before thinking. "Naomi." "Finally," Vanessa said. "I've been trying to reach you." I stayed silent. "The investor deal fell through." She continued quickly. "But I have another opportunity. There's an incubator program. I just need 15,000 to get started." "Of course. I know you're upset about the surgery," she added. "But this is important. This could change everything." I hung up. She called again. I blocked the number. A message came from my mom. "You're breaking your sister's heart. She thought she could count on you." I blocked her. Then my dad left a voicemail. "Your mother is devastated. Vanessa's opportunity is falling apart because you're being selfish." I blocked him too. And then I changed my number. For the first time, silence felt peaceful. Daniel kept me updated from work. Everything was fine. My team had things under control. Focus on getting better. He told me. Megan sent photos of my apartment. She watered my plants and collected my mail. Lily sent care packages every week. Books, chocolate, small things that made me smile. No expectations, no demands. Just care. It made me realize something I hadn't wanted to admit. These people showed up for me more than my own family ever had. At 6 weeks, Dr. Lee cleared me to return to work part-time. Caroline drove me back to my apartment to gather more of my things. The moment I opened the door, I saw them. Letters. 17 of them. Slipped underneath. All from my parents. I didn't read any of them. I threw them away. There were packages too. From Vanessa. I donated them without opening them. One envelope stood out. From my parents' church. Inside was a note from the pastor about forgiveness and family. I stared at it for a moment, then recycled it. Caroline helped me pack the essentials. "Are you coming back here?" she asked gently. I looked around the apartment. It felt empty. Not physically, emotionally. It was full of long nights, stress, and everything I had sacrificed for someone else. "No," I said. "I don't think I am." I ended the lease, moved everything into storage, and stayed with Caroline. Figuring out what I wanted felt strange at first, but it also felt possible at 8 weeks. I returned to work full-time. My team welcomed me back with a small celebration. Nothing extravagant, just genuine. Daniel pulled me aside. "How are you really doing?" he asked. "Better," I said, and I meant it. He nodded, then added carefully, "Your mom called the office last week. She was asking if you were back." I didn't feel panic or guilt, just distance and something new. Peace. "I told her we couldn't give out that information," Daniel said, then looked at me more gently. "Naomi, whatever happened with your family, you don't have to explain it. Just know this. You matter here. Not because of what you do, because of who you are." I nodded, but I couldn't speak. I went to the bathroom and cried for 10 minutes. Not from pain, but because no one in my family had ever said that to me. By week 12, I moved into a new place, smaller, closer to work, quiet, and for the first time, it had a space just for me, a small home office, for writing. Caroline helped me move in. She brought plants, dishes, even a blanket she said every writer needs. That first night, we sat on the floor eating takeout. "I'm proud of you," she said. "I'm scared." I admitted. Scared they'll show up. Scared I'll give in. Scared I'm a terrible person. "You're not terrible," she said. "You're surviving." That night, I opened my laptop. A blank page. I stared at it for a long time. Then I started writing. About a girl who learned that family isn't always blood, that love shouldn't hurt, that no is a complete sentence. At week 16, Vanessa found me again, this time through LinkedIn. "I need your help. Just 10,000. Please. Naomi, I'm your sister." I didn't reply. I deleted it. Blocked her. At week 20, my mom showed up at my door. I didn't open it. She knocked, then pounded. "How can you do this? We're your family. Vanessa is struggling. You ruined her future." I stood still. I didn't move. I called security. They escorted her out. Before she left, she pushed a note under the door. "You'll regret this. When you're alone, you'll realize family is everything." I kept the note. The next day, I showed it to my therapist. "What do you feel?" she asked. Angry, sad, but also relieved. I said, "Relieved I'm not that person anymore. The one who would read this and send the money." She smiled slightly. That's growth. At 6 months, doctor, Lee cleared me completely. Full recovery. No restrictions. You did great, he said. But it felt bigger than that. I didn't just heal. I changed. Caroline took me out to celebrate. We ordered everything we wanted. What now, she asked. Keep writing. I said. Keep saying no. Keep choosing myself. And your family. I thought for a moment. They already chose. I said. Now it's my turn. She raised her glass. To choosing yourself. That night, I posted my first piece online, a short essay about boundaries, about walking away. It spread fast. Thousands of people shared it. People who had been used, ignored, taken for granted. People who were finally learning to say no. I wasn't alone. Vanessa saw it. She sent an angry email. Take it down or I'll sue. I forwarded it to a lawyer. She laughed. Let her try. My mom sent a message through a cousin. Please delete it. It's embarrassing. I didn't. My dad sent a formal letter. You're no longer welcome at family events. I didn't expect anything from them anymore, so it didn't matter. 1 year later, I got promoted. Senior director. Better hours. Better life. I bought myself a car. The first big thing I ever bought just for me. Caroline and I went to Italy. 2 weeks of peace. No pressure. No demands. Just living. I finished my book. Got an offer. Then another. It sold for 6 figures. The dedication read, for Caroline. And for anyone still learning to say no. Vanessa messaged me again after the news broke. Congratulations. I always knew you were talented. Listen, I have a new idea and I could really use. I didn't read the rest. I didn't need to. Because this time, I already knew my answer. I blocked her without reading the rest. A few days later, flowers arrived at my publisher's office. So proud of you. Love. Mom and Dad. I donated them. I didn't send them my book. 2 years after the accident, I met someone. He was kind. He respected my boundaries. He never asked me for anything. When I told him about my past, he simply said, they don't deserve you. Caroline met him and smiled. He's good for you. That was enough. 3 years later, Vanessa's app finally launched. It failed within months. She called me from a new number. I'm in trouble. I need help. There was a time I would have said yes without thinking. Now, I hope you figure it out. I said, but I can't help you. I hung up. She didn't call again. My mom sent one last message blaming me, saying I would end up alone. I replied once. Caroline showed up when I needed someone. You didn't. I know who my real family is. Then I blocked her. And that was the end. I never heard from them again. Caroline turned 70. Still strong. Still the person who saved me by reminding me I mattered. My book became a bestseller. I left my job and started writing full-time. I bought a house. Caroline moved into the small guest cottage behind it. Every Sunday, we have dinner together, sometimes with friends, sometimes just us. We built a family by choice. People ask if I regret cutting them off. I tell them the truth. I don't miss being used. I don't regret choosing myself. They didn't want me. They wanted what I could give. Caroline wanted me. That's the difference. 4 years after the accident. My dad called. My mom had cancer. Stage 4. She wants to see you. I felt sadness, anger, but not obligation. I'm sorry, I said, but I can't come. She's your mother. She stopped being that when she chose a party over my surgery. I hung up. Caroline found me later. Do you want to go? She asked. I don't know. Then choose what you can live with. I thought about it for days. In the end, I sent flowers. No message. That was all I could give. She passed away 2 weeks later. I didn't go to the funeral. Maybe that sounds cold, but I had spent almost 30 years giving them everything. The last few years, I finally chose myself, and that was enough. Now my second book is coming out. It's dedicated to Caroline, and to anyone still learning this. No is a complete sentence. Family is who shows up, and you are worth more than what you can give. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it. If you would make the same choice I did choosing yourself, setting boundaries, and walking away from people who only value what you give, right? Yes. So I know I'm not alone. And if your path is different, write another choice and share it. There was a moment in my life when I realized love should never feel like a transaction. For years, I believed being a good daughter meant giving more, sacrificing more, staying silent even when it hurt. But lying in that hospital bed, I finally saw the truth. Real love shows up. It stays. It doesn't ask what you can give. It asks how you feel. Choosing myself wasn't easy. It felt like loss at first, but slowly, it became freedom. I learned that setting boundaries is not selfish. It's necessary. That walking away doesn't mean you don't love it, means you respect yourself enough to stop being hurt. If this story touched something inside you, maybe it's because you felt the same way. And if you have, I want you to know you matter. Your voice matters. Your story matters. If you believe in choosing yourself, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. You might inspire someone else who is still struggling to find their strength. Thank you for being here, for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next story.
Welcome to Family Confessions. Our stories go beyond entertainment, helping viewers recognize toxic behaviors, understand boundaries, and reflect on their relationships, while reinforcing self-worth and the strength to heal and move forward. Each video follows a structured workflow ensuring quality and value for our audience. Thank you for being here.